Today's class works up to bird of paradise pose. So we're going to be focusing on hips, hamstrings, shoulders, and balance. You may want a couple of blocks. If you decide to use them, I recommend setting them up similar to how I have them. And because we will be doing lots of binding today, you may also want a strap. Let's start out in Sukhasana. Easy pose, right foot in front. Find a place where you're resting comfortably on both of your sit bones and make sure that your shoulders are over your hips and your pelvis is neutral, not tipping back with your chest coming forward and not rounding under with your chest going back. Nice tall spine. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, twist to your right, left hand to right knee, right hand behind. Inhale, find some length. And exhale, twist. Inhale for length. And exhale, twist deeper. One more time, inhale. And exhale to twist. Inhale back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, fold from your hips, walk your hands forward as far as you're comfortable folding at the beginning of your practice. Keep your weight going back in your hips. Keep your torso long. Feel the gentle opening in the outside of your hips. Walk your hands back in, place them behind you, lean back, extend your right leg and then your left leg, and then recross your legs, left leg in front. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, twist to your left, right hand to left knee, left hand behind. Inhale for length, and exhale to twist. Inhale, find some length. And exhale, twist deeper. One more time, nice big inhale. And exhale to twist. Inhale back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, fold from your hips, walk your hands forward. Weight going back into your hips, torso long. Walk your hands in, place your hands flat, and find your way into tabletop pose. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. You can have your toes tucked or untucked. For the next few breaths, you can do some cat-cows or maybe just wiggle from side to side, whatever feels good for you right now. One more inhale, and on your exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Stay up on your toes and keep your knees bent. Draw your tailbone up and back and push into the knuckles at the base of your fingers. Feel the length and the space through your torso. Keep all of this length, keep your tailbone pointing up and back as you slowly lower your heels back and down. If at any point along the way you notice that your tailbone starts to tuck under and your low back starts to round, rebend your knees, draw your tailbone up and back again, and then just keep your knees slightly bent wherever they need to be so that you can keep that neutral pelvis and keep the length through your torso. Inhale, walk your feet towards your hands. halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold, soft bend to your knees. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing, arms overhead. And exhale, hands through heart center, revisit Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step your right foot and then your left foot back and lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes, reach your hands back alongside your body and inhale up into locust. Exhale, release down, hands under shoulders, push up and back to downward facing dog. Notice what's happening in your pelvis. Notice where your tailbone is pointing. Push through the knuckles at the base of your fingers and energetically wrap your triceps towards your ears. Find space and find strength in your downward facing dog. Look forward and walk your feet between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center, back to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left foot and then your right foot back and lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes, arms by your sides, inhale up to Shalabhasana Locust. And exhale, release down, hands under shoulders. Push up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot by your right hand. Pivot your left heel down and rise up to Warrior Two. Bend deeply down into your right knee. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Inhale, find space through your chest. Exhale, fold from your hips. Bring your right shoulder over your right knee, or if your anatomy allows, maybe you can bring your right shoulder inside your right knee. Humble warrior. Your hips are going to want to lean over to the right. So bring both of your hips towards the left so they're back in line with the middle of your mat. And then continue to energetically draw your right hip back as you bend deeper into your right knee and lift your hands up towards the ceiling. Feel the space you're creating in your hips and the strength you're using in your hips. One more inhale and stay for the exhale. Inhale, come up part way. Release the interlace. Place your right hand either on the block or on the mat on the outside of your right foot. Bring your left arm up to the ceiling and straighten your right leg. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Tuck your tailbone under slightly. Find space through your chest. And if it's comfortable, you can gaze up at your left hand. Press firmly into the outside of your left foot and through your right big toe mound and energetically draw your legs towards each other. And move your head forward towards the top of your mat. Find space again through your torso, strength through your legs. Bring your left hand down. Walk your hands along the left edge of your mat. Turn your right toes to point to the side. Bend into your left knee. Come up onto your right heel, Skandasana, side lunge. Press firmly into your right heel and feel the space in the inside of your right thigh. One more inhale. And a full, complete exhale. Continue walking your hands to the left until you're facing the back of your mat. Step your left foot back to meet your right. Lower halfway or all the way to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot by your left hand. Pivot your right heel down and rise up to Virabhadrasana 2. Bend deeply into your left knee. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Put the opposite thumb on top this time. Inhale, find space through your chest. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Left shoulder over left knee, or potentially inside of your left knee for humble warrior. Your hips may be moving over to the left, so bring both of your hips towards the right so they're aligned over the middle of your mat. And then energetically draw your left hip back as you continue to bend into your left knee. Reach your head towards the mat and your hands towards the ceiling. Strong and spacious in this pose. Inhale, come up partway. Release the interlace. Left hand can come onto your block or on the outside of your left foot. Right hand overhead, straighten your left leg. Triangle pose. Tuck your tailbone. Expand through your chest. Gaze up at your right hand if it's comfortable. It's like you're being squeezed between two panes of glass, one in front and one behind. Both sides of your torso are straight and long, parallel with your mat. Bring your right hand down. Walk your hands along the long edge of your mat. Turn your left toes in. Bend into your right knee. Lift your left toes up. Press into your left heel. Feel the space on the inside of your left thigh. Skandasana. Continue walking your hands to the right until you're once again facing the front of your mat. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Lower halfway or all the way to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward, and walk, step, or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Place your hands underneath your feet. Bring your toes all the way up to your wrist creases. Inhale for length. Exhale to fold. Bend your elbows. Bring your head down towards your feet like you want to scratch the top of your head with your toes. Tailbone is pointing up to the ceiling. Your knees can be soft if you need. And lean your weight forward more into your toes. Padahastasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Release your hands and rise all the way up to standing. Bring your hands to your waist. Weight in your right foot. Lift your left knee up towards your chest. Open your left knee to the side and reach around with your left hand. Hold onto your ankle and place your foot wherever is comfortable for Vrikshasana, tree pose. That may be along your ankle, your calf, or potentially all the way up in your inner thigh. Wherever the foot goes, press your leg into your foot into your leg. You can bring your hands to heart center. Engage your right glute to keep your hips from popping out to the right. Engage your left glute to help your knee open to the left. Carefully release your foot and take it and cross your ankle over your right knee as you slowly bend your right knee like you're sitting down into a chair behind you. Standing figure 4. The lower you come, the more you'll feel it in the outside of your left hip. If you'd like, you can rest your forearms along your shin. Inhale slowly, rise back up to standing. Bring your left knee back up towards your chest. And then hinge forward from your hips. Extend your left leg back so you can step your left toes down and turn to the left side of your mat. Inhale, find space. And exhale, forward fold. Prasarita Padottanasana, wide leg forward fold. Energetically, bring your head down towards the mat. It's okay if it doesn't touch. Press into the outside edges of both feet and lean your weight forward some so you're not back in your heels, but it's spread evenly throughout your foot. Draw your shoulders up towards your hips and breathe into the space you're finding throughout your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk your hands towards the front of your mat, turn your toes forward, and lower your left knee down. Take your right arm and wrap it behind your right shin so that your right shoulder comes almost underneath your knee. Then take your right hand and bring it towards your right hip. Here's where you may want the strap. If you're using a strap, take hold of it with your left hand. Reach your left hand behind your back and either interlace your hands, bind your hands, or hold on to the strap. You can stay here, or if you'd like, option 2, you can power up your left leg, press strongly into your left toes, bound lizard pose. Strong, stable, and steady. One more inhale, and a full, complete exhale. Then slowly and gently lower your left knee if it's lifted. Release the bind, set the strap back down, unwind your right arm, walk your hands back, straighten your right leg. Inhale, find length, and exhale, fold over your right leg for Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Energetically push your right heel into the mat. Draw your right hip back and down and your left hip forward as your head yearns towards your foot and your chest stays broad. Inhale, walk your hands forward. Rebend your right knee. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Lower halfway or all the way to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Walk, step, or float to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Place your hands once again underneath your feet. Toes up towards the wrist creases. Inhale for length. Exhale to fold in Padahastasana. Knees can be soft. Tailbone is reaching up towards the ceiling. Shoulder blades are reaching up towards your hips. Head is yearning towards your feet. Lean your weight forward more into your toes. Inhale, halfway lift, release your hands, and slowly come all the way up to standing. Bring your hands to your hips, weight this time in your left foot. Bring your right knee up towards your chest. Open your knee to the side. Reach around the inside, find your ankle with your right hand, and place your right foot wherever you want for tree pose. It may be different on this side than on the left. Leg presses into foot, foot presses into leg. Bring your hands to heart center. Engage both glutes. The left glute keeps your hips even. The right glute helps open your knee to the side. Gaze at one unmoving spot to help with your balance. Carefully release your right foot and cross your right ankle over your left knee as you bend your left knee like you're sitting down into a chair behind you. Your hips go back, your chest comes forward slightly. The deeper you go, the more you'll feel it in the outside of your right hip. Your forearms can rest along your right shin, standing figure 4. Inhale, with control, come back up to standing. Bring your right knee up to your chest. Then hinge from your hips. Extend your right leg back behind you. Touch your right toes down and turn open to the right side of your mat. Inhale for length. Exhale, wide leg forward fold. Variation of your choosing. Hands can be down, or if you want to interlace your hands, you could do that. Your head once again yearns for the mat. Press into the outside edges of both feet. Lift your shoulder blades up towards your hips. And just breathe into the stretch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands to the front of the mat. Toes point forward. Lower your right knee down. Take your left arm, wrap it behind your left shin, so your left shoulder is slightly underneath your left knee. And then take your left hand and bring it towards your left hip. If you're using a strap, you're going to want your strap now, so go ahead, find that, and then bring your right hand behind your back. You can bind your hands or hold on to the strap. Option 1, your bound lizard is right here. Option 2, power up your right leg. Press into your right toes. Keep that right leg straight and strong. Don't let your hips hike up super high. Keep them down within the angled line of this pose. Slowly and with control, lower your right knee down. Release the bind, unravel your left hand. and walk your hands back as you straighten your left leg. Inhale for length and exhale to fold in your half split. Press into your left heel. Draw your left hip back and down, your right hip forward. Keep your chest broad, your belly towards your thighs, and the top of your head yearning towards your foot. One more inhale and exhale. Inhale, walk your hands forward, rebend your left knee. Step your left foot back to meet your right and lower halfway or all the way to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Notice your tailbone. It's pulling up and back. No rounding through your low back. Space and length through your torso. Then carefully walk your hands back towards your feet. Make sure your feet are about hip distance apart. Take your pointer and middle fingers and wrap them around your big toes. Inhale for length. Exhale, bend your elbows and fold. Padangustasana. Weight comes forward in your feet, toes. Head yearns for your feet, just like in Padahastasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Keep the grip around your right toe, but release the left. Bring your left hand to your hip. Softly bend your knees and come up to standing on your left foot, bringing your right foot along with you. Slowly extend your right foot as straight as you can. It doesn't need to be perfectly straight. Engage your left glute to keep your hips from popping out to the side. Find one unmoving spot to look at. Keep your torso long, posture tall. Slowly open your right leg to the side. Right glute is engaged to open the leg. Left glute is engaged to keep your hips even. Then carefully bring your right foot back in front of you. Release your right big toe, but see if you can keep your foot where it is for one nice long inhale and a full, complete exhale. Before you slowly lower your right foot back down, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold, and walk your hands forward to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot by your right hand. Lower your left knee down. Find your strap. Hold on to it with your left hand if you're using it. Come on up to low lunge. Left arm up by your ear, right arm by your side. Bend your left elbow, and then bend your right elbow. You can hold on to the strap or hold on to your hands. Pay attention to your low ribs. If they're flaring, draw them in and down. Keep that space through your torso nice and tall as you lower down a little bit deeper into your lunge. Carefully release. You can keep holding on to the strap. Bring your hands on the inside of your right foot. Power up your left leg. Spin your left heel down. Take your right arm, wrap it underneath your right thigh. Left arm behind your back. Hold on to the strap or your hands. Bound side angle. Watch your hips. Make sure that they're not hiking up, but that you have a nice, straight, diagonal line from your head through your hips to your heel. Bend nice and deeply into that right leg. Spiral your chest open. And if it's comfortable, gaze up at the ceiling. Carefully release the bind. Bring your hands down. You can let go of the strap for now. Back up on your left toes. Step your right foot back. Lower halfway or all the way to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Slowly walk your hands back towards your feet. Feet are hip distance apart. Hold on around your big toes with your pointer and middle fingers. Inhale for length. Exhale to fold. Softly bend your knees. Hips point up towards the ceiling. Shoulder blades draw towards your hips. Head yearns towards your feet. Weight forward slightly in your toes. Inhale, halfway lift. Keep the grip around the left toe, but release the right. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Bend your knees and slowly come to stand on your right foot, bringing your left foot with you. Extend your left leg long, as straight as you can. It doesn't need to be perfectly straight. Engage that right glute to keep your hips from popping out to the right. Slowly open your left leg to the side, using your left glutes to open your hip. Keep your posture nice and tall, the top of your head yearning towards the ceiling. Slowly bring your left foot back in front of you. Release the grip around your left toe, but keep your leg where it is for one long inhale and a full, complete exhale. Bring your left foot back down. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to fold and walk your hands forward to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot by your left hand. Lower your right knee down. If you want to use the strap, go ahead, find your strap. You want it in your right hand. Come up to your low lunge. Left arm by your side, right arm by your ear. Bend both elbows and hold on with the strap or your hands. Once again, notice what's happening with your low ribs. Draw them in and down. Keep that neutral pelvis. Keep your ribs in and down as you lower a little deeper into your lunge. You can release the bind. Bring your hands down on the inside of your left leg. Hold on to the strap if you'd like to still use it. Power up your right leg. Pivot your right heel down. Wrap your left arm underneath your left thigh and your right arm behind your back. Hold on to the strap or interlace your hands. Once again, notice the angle of your body and that your hips aren't hiking up. If it's comfortable, you can gaze up at the ceiling. Open your chest, nice and wide. Bend into your left knee. Press firmly into the outside edge of your right foot. Carefully release your bind. Bring your hands back down. Come back up onto your right toes. Step your left foot back. Lower halfway or all the way to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot by your right hand, pivot your left heel down, and rise up to Virabhadrasana 2. Bend deeply into your right knee. Tip your hips back to the left slightly, and find your way down into side angle, Parsvakonasana. Hand can be on the inside of your right foot. You can use the block inside your right foot if you'd like. From here, we're going to bind. Use the strap if you'd like. Otherwise, left hand behind your back, right hand underneath your right leg. Look down. Pivot up onto your left toes. This is similar to the bound lizard we did earlier. And then, with strength and control, step your left foot forward to meet your right. You can take multiple steps if you need to. From here, weight goes into your left foot. Slowly and with control, stand in that left leg. Bring your right leg with you. Stand tall. Just like our tree, just like our hand to big toe. Engage that left glute to keep your hips even. You can stay here for your bird of paradise, or you can extend your right toes up to the ceiling, letting the energy move all the way up and out through your right foot. Tall posture, open chest. Then slowly rebend your right knee. Place your right foot back down. If you can, keep the bind as you step your left foot back where it came from, pivoting your left heel back down and coming back into bound side angle. Then release the bind, place your hands down, step back and lower. Chaturanga or all the way to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot by your left hand. Pivot your right heel down and come on up to warrior 2. Bend deeply into that left knee. Shift your hips back to the right. Find Parsvakonasana, side angle. Left hand can be on a block or all the way to the mat on the inside of your left foot. From here, we're going to bind. Find the strap if you'd like to use it. Right hand behind your back, left hand underneath your leg. Hold on to the strap or your hands. Pivot up onto your right toes. And then with strength and control, step your right foot forward. Again, take as many steps as you'd like. Shift your weight over into your right foot and slowly come to stand on your right foot, bringing your left leg with you. Chest is open and broad. Posture is tall. Engage your right glute. You can stay here for your bird of paradise or power through your left leg. Straighten that left leg. Let the energy move out through your left toes. Then slowly and carefully rebend your left knee. Place your left foot back down. Maintain the bind if you can. Step your right foot back. Pivot the heel back down. Bound side angle. Release the bind. Place your hands down. Step back. Lower halfway or all the way to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot forward between your hands and turn to face the left side of your mat. Stand tall. Let's turn our toes out to the side, heels in, bend down and come into goddess. To start, you can just move from side to side, do whatever feels good. Then take your left forearm, place it on your left thigh, stretch your right arm up to the ceiling. You can keep it here or bring it alongside your ear for a nice side stretch in Goddess. Then switch sides, bring your right forearm to your right thigh, left arm reaches up to the ceiling, maybe alongside your left ear. Bring your torso back upright, but keep your knees bent. Stay for a moment in your Goddess, and then inhale, stand tall. Heel toe your feet a little closer together, and then come down into Malasana. Toes out, heels in. Energetically continue to pull your heels in and your toes out, and press through all four corners of your feet to keep your feet engaged and active in this pose. You can use your elbows to help open your knees wide, and just feel the opening through your low back and your hips. One more inhale. And a full, complete exhale. You can place your hands behind you to help you come down, or just carefully find your way to seated. Stretch your legs nice and wide for a nice straddle seat. Inhale, find length. And then exhale, walk your hands forward, fold. Go only as low as you're comfortable with, keeping your tailbone pulling back, your chest broad. Walk your hands underneath you. Bring your feet together at the front of your mat. You may need to move some of your props out of the way at this time so that you can have the full space of your mat as you come to lie down on your back. Open your feet wide. Your hands can be alongside your hips, or if you want to really take up some space, you can stretch your arms wide out like a T, palms facing up. Close your eyes. Release your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Relax the clenching of your jaw and the pursing of your lips. Let your shoulders melt down into the mat. Relax the gripping of your fingers and let your feet just flop open to the sides. Release control over your breath and let your breath just return to its normal automatic pattern. Let go of any last remaining bits of tension as you melt down into your mat. I invite you to stay here for as long as you'd like, for as long as you're able. If you're ready to move on with me, stretch your legs long, stretch your arms overhead. Nice big inhale. Exhale, roll over onto one side. Find your way to a comfortable seated position. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Thank you for practicing with me.